countertop. Or what I can do here is if I click on granite, it gives me all my options here of granite. So here's all my different options. I can scan through those. When I click on one, it shows me a picture of them here. Whichever picture I show there. If I go to quartz, same thing. It goes into the different types of quartz surfaces. I can also come in here if I want to do a metal countertop like a copper top. I could actually put a copper top on the design and it looks like a copper top. So I'm going to come in here and put a quartz color on here. I'm just going to use this one right here. Now the other thing I can do here is, let's say you like this color a lot and you want to use it a lot, you can actually add this to your favorites and it's going to add it to the favorites right here. Or if you did a custom color or something like that. Now when I click OK here, what it does, it transfers that color over to here. I can do the same thing on wall coverings. Click here. Let's say I want to go into a paint. I'm going to click on paints here and go to my red palette. I can actually click on a color and it shows me the color over here. So you can see it's very easy to navigate this. Now let's say I want to go into a custom color. Let's say this is almost the color I want but not quite. I don't know if I want that color, but let's say I wanted this here, but I want to do a little bit lighter, a little darker. I can go into custom palette and actually move my colors by using my RGB slides. So you can see you can get very exact on a color. If you want to go into a sage green or whatever color you want to go into, you can go into a color like this. You can also add this to your favorites, so now it becomes that color palette out of the custom palette. I click OK, it changes that color. You have the ability to change flooring. We can go into, let's go into hardwood. I'm just going to grab one here. And you can also change your ceiling color. On your ceilings you have things like plaster. If you want to go into a plaster ceiling, you can go into metal, wood, whatever you want to put on a ceiling. Excuse me, on your ceiling you can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a gray paint for now. So you can see it's very easy to use, and we've actually simplified that from version 2.5 to 3.0. Last thing we have here is your units. This is how you set up your units of measure on here. So you can tell it you want imperial inches, feet in inches, or metric, depending on what your needs are. Now when I click OK, we're ready to start designing. Okay, so to start designing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab a wall. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a wall here. There's two ways I can do this. I can either use my pre-shaped walls here. So I can click on the L shape, tell it which orientation I want, simply type in what I want here, click OK, or I can sketch walls. What I can do here is I can click on the wall here, and one thing we can do in our program that I know our competitors don't do at this point is we can start anywhere we want and draw any direction we want. So I can start here in the middle. I can left click and let go and start dragging the wall the direction I want. Now what I can do here is I can use my cursor. If you notice on the left hand side you have an edit box. I can simply take out what I have in that edit box and simply type in what I want. So I can type in 60 inches, hit enter, and it places that wall into the design at 60 inches. I could also change my angle and length over there. Now what I can do is I can start dragging this wall here. If I want to angle this wall, I can actually right click on my mouse. What it allows me to do is it allows me to angle this wall. Well, there we go. It allows me to angle this wall. You notice how on the left hand side the angle is telling me the angle on the angle edit box. Now if I right click again, what it does, it locks my angle in and allows me to change my length. Okay, now what I can do also is I can use my edit box here to change my walls and override what I'm doing on my keyboard or on my desktop. What I can do here is I can go ahead and type in my length, in this case 123. I can type in my angle at 90. As soon as I hit enter, it places that wall in there. Now the other thing I can do is, if you notice in the edit box on the left that the 4 inches is lit up. That means that's a live edit box and I can simply just type in what I want. In this case I'm going to type in 42 inches. Tab down, type in 180 and hit enter. It automatically adds that wall in there. So if you know your lengths and your angles, you can simply just type in the walls that you want. Now let's say that we want to end this drawing. I want to say these are the 3 walls that I want, and I want to end the walls where they are. If you notice, it keeps drawing the next wall over. It's always going to draw to the right. If you notice down here at the bottom, it says drag the mouse to draw the wall, left click to set the wall, right click to change the angle, and press the escape key to end the drawing. Or what I can do is I can simply click back here behind the opposite side of where the wall's drawing. So I click back here, and it ends that wall. So you can see it's very easy to do. Ahead and we're going to go ahead and make this wall here into a half wall or into a pony wall. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and right click on the mouse. Anytime I right click on something in the program, what it does, it gives me a menu. What I can do here is I can go to wall 3, and I have the ability to do all these functions to this wall. We're not going to go through these today, but we can do all these functions to the wall. I'm going to come down to my attributes. First thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on my attributes. I can change this wall into a construction line. And what that means is I can make this wall so it's not a solid wall, but where it's more like a peninsula. So you could actually put a cabinet out here, and then you could see the back of the cabinets. And that's what a construction line does. I talked about placement zones earlier. The placement zone here is what this is right here. Anything I snap into or onto that wall, into this placement zone, will actually snap into or onto that wall. So it's very easy to place things into or onto the walls. I'm going to put a zone on the inside and outside of this wall, so I have a zone on the back side of here. This works for two reasons. It actually works in our 3D view as well as our setting of cabinets. I'm going to make this wall 12 inches thick just to show you I can put a 12-inch wall next to a 4.5-inch wall. I'm also going to make the height of this wall 14.5 inches. As soon as I click OK, what it did, it put the zone on the outside here, made this wall 12.5 inches thick, and made it 14.5 inches high. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a 3D view. And if you notice, I do not do a camera shot. All I do is click on the 3D button here. What this does, it creates a 3D view of what we've told it to do here. And what this is a full rotational 3D view. I can actually rotate this whole view around like this. If you notice, I can rotate it to the top, the bottom, whatever view I want to go this way, I can rotate it. And what I'm doing to rotate this is holding my right mouse button down and holding it as I rotate it. Now I want you to notice as I rotate it around backwards, I want you to notice how these two walls disappear, but this one didn't. The reason for this is because I have this placement zone on the back side of this wall. As I rotate this round back to the front, they reappear. The other reason for that is obviously so when you have an island out here, you can actually see the front of the island and not be blocked by these walls. We'll go into more of 3D once we have the cabinets into the design. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. Now a couple things we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and show you a couple different ways to place items. I'm going to place a window in this wall here. First way I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use my buttons on the side. And if you look at your buttons on the side, you have cabinets, windows, doors, appliances. You have all your plumbing fixtures, lighting, furniture, and decorative items. These items are new to ProKitchen. We didn't have these buttons on the last ProKitchen. So we've added them onto here because they're much easier to find. I'm going to go ahead and click on my Windows button here. What this does, it brings up my Windows window. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and click on the picture window here. And what it does here, in this case, it brings up a black and white picture of this window here. Let's say I want to come down here and I want to choose my black window here. I can simply double click on this picture here and it allows me to do a fully rotational view of the item I have here. And this works on everything. If I did an appliance or a decoration, you can actually see the color view of that decoration. And you can set this up on your computer, on your preferences, to have it to where it comes up as a color view every time or a black and white picture every time. So now when I click on something else here, I have it set up where it comes up as a black and white. Now what I can do is once I have this window, I say this is the one I want, and click on Place, click it inside the placement zone. And what this allows me to do is it allows me to move that window back and forth in the placement zone. You'll notice also it opens up my edit box here on the side. I can simply come in here and type in, let's say, 51 inches, hit enter, and it's going to place that window over at 51 inches. Now obviously we don't want all our windows at 30 inches, so we need to change the size of that window. To do that, I'm going to simply double click on the window. It brings up a live attributes box here. I can do the same thing here. I can double click on this window again. It allows me to rotate the window around. I can move it in and out, back and forth, whatever I need to do. I'm doing that with the mouse. Now what I can do here is I can change this window to 36 inches. If you notice when I change it, it changes the size of the window here. I can also change it to 42 inches. I also have the ability to change the plan notation. Right now the plan notation says WP36 black. I could do this as a 3036 window. Now on everything in the program we have this option here, the plan notation. So you have complete control of what you want to call this item.